if you're remotely engaged with the art community, well, whether or not you're an artist or an art enjoyer, or you just happen to know people who are artists, I'm sure you're very aware of how most artists view AI. And I'm an artist myself. Throughout this footage, you'll see footage of me drawing and some images I made as B-roll, because I don't really have any particular thing to set as a background. But I really wanted to quickly give my sort of simultaneously uninformed and yet quite relevant opinion on AI. Now, full disclosure, I'm not some kind of like tech geek or an AI bro or anything like that. But I am an artist and I'm crazy about drawing. It's like the thing I'm all about. And I gotta say, I feel like the way artists have reacted to AI is very childish and overblown and forced. Kind of like a trend, almost. Now, I'm not saying people's opinions aren't genuine, and just to be clear, I'm going to get to this later on, but I'm not saying that we should accept AI images as art. Sometimes I call AI art, but I don't really mean that. I don't consider it art. I don't think anything that isn't made by a human to be art, or God. But, that being said, I mean, I feel like it's very irrational. I mean, like, comparatively, I would say that photography had a much bigger impact on the art world, and it honestly could have really ruined image art altogether, and some people say it has, and I totally disagree with that bullshit. But, undoubtedly, though, photography has had a ginormous impact on art. Some of it positive, a lot of it negative. And so AI cannot possibly contend with that. What AI mostly poses a risk to is quite low-end, I won't say exactly low-end, but like cheap, non-high respected whore jobs, basically. Undeniably, AI has taken work from commissioners. I've seen this myself. People get less commissions ever since AI has been around. So a lot of people who aren't super aesthetically into stuff, they don't need to be an artist anymore. Like, you don't need to hire an artist. You own the brush, you own the gun, and that's good for them, but it might be bad for us. And self-admittedly, I will say that while they might be happy with these AI images, they look pretty shit. A lot of them look kind of bad. Not all AI art looks bad. A lot of it can be objectively aesthetically pleasing, and it can fit nicely into aesthetics and trends. And that's not inherently a bad thing. I haven't generated much AI myself. I've only sort of experimented with it, but undoubtedly, AI can look nice. But for sure, see someone on Facebook or Twitter generating AI for whatever reason, it's not going to look good as someone actually drawn it. As far as coming up with ideas, humans are obviously better at it than AI, which is why I don't see AI taking over storyboards for anything remotely important anytime soon. AI can take over a lot of jobs like commissions, as I said, or there's such jobs like, there have been big companies who've been scammed by AI, like Disney. Recently there was a scandal. DC and Marvel, I'm not shocked that all three of the companies have been slopped for a long time. So it's actually kind of shocking how people are a little underprepared for AI. But here's the thing. If you're an artist, I just need to get this straight off the back, okay? No, you are not entitled to people's money. You're not entitled to people's time. It doesn't matter how many hours you spent on a piece or how much of your heart and soul you put into it. It's totally irrelevant. Because the world doesn't owe you anything. And by and large, I'm going to be honest. I'm not trying to say I'm better than anyone, even though I kind of feel like I am. But a lot of artists draw really boring shit, Like, you get, like, people, and not even like they're not good. Like, I've seen people, they can draw, like, they can paint, like, beautiful, realistic oil paintings. And all they paint is fucking white women with their hair pulled back. It's so boring. And obviously, I'm not saying everything has to be, like, crazy sci-fi, giant biblical scenes. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that a lot of people lack creativity. I've heard people say, I was, like, blessed with talent, cursed with a lack of creativity. And yeah, I feel like a lot of artists are kind of like that. And to be honest, if you aren't a terribly creative artist, but you're talented, AI is kind of a problem for you. But, if you're an artist who has more original ideas, you're probably going to be better as far as the job market goes. I think for, like, comics and animation, though, I will admit I do have a bit of a worry for the animation industry, but we'll see about that. But for the most part, I feel like it's just one big people falling on their knees and crying. And I will admit, when the AI conversation came big a couple years ago, I was initially really worried about myself. It was kind of a downer. I basically kind of gave up on having a mainstream comic goal, like becoming a comic publisher. I'm still working toward that goal, but I will admit, logically speaking now, I don't think comics are super affected. AI is really bad at replicating comics, at least for now. But, like I said, I think most people, generally speaking, like it when, it's not so much they aesthetically prefer the art made by humans, it's just that they like it more inherently, So I feel like people are way too worried about this, and it really goes to show the moral panic people feel so easily. When, like I said, like 5 fucking times in this video, photography has had a way bigger and scary impact on the world of art. What the fuck was that? Anyway, sorry, I hear like the weirdest shit in the fucking woods. Anyway, I think it was a coyote or something. Anyway, but like, so long story short, oh my god. What I'm trying to get in this video is that if you're an artist, art, in my opinion, my worldview, is a blessing from God. It's a talent. It's also a skill you learn over many years, and art is extremely valuable. You should be proud of art, but art is not something, you're not art Jesus, okay, if you draw, like, anime profile pictures. And if you see someone, like a boomer on Facebook, or some AI bro on Twitter, post AI, like, say, oh, yeah, I love the clanker. You're sounding, like, retarded and honestly a little jealous. And to be honest, I've seen people posting AI and artists coming in and hating. And to be honest, the AI looks better than your anime slop. Just being honest. But like I said, it's just, I feel like people just, like, get programmed opinions without actually using your mind. So maybe instead of running away in fear from AI, you could try to learn to embrace it a little bit, or just don't live in fear, okay? Like, you live in probably, if you're watching this video, you live in a first world country, it's gonna be okay, We've gone for scarier things as a nation. We're going through some pretty fucking scary things right now with all the assassinations and shit. So, you're gonna be okay. Chill out, make some cool shit, make people happy, make yourself happy, and have a good day. God bless.